Hi, welcome to Sticks. Tonight we're going to go over the garter tab. This is used for top-down shawls generally. You can see it's right in this bit here. And then you'll notice the shawl has continued to use that garter stitch border. And this is the center stitch. So the increases on this particular shawl are done on the sides here. And you can see the curve of the shawl. So this stick here represents is the garter stitch tab with the stitches all picked up, and that just fits right there. How we begin is casting on 3 stitches, and then we will knit 6 rows. I like to not make a slip knot with this one because it does show a little bit. So what I'm going to do is get set up for my long tail, stick my needle underneath this top one, my finger on it, and then we're going to pull that straight down. Up and over, there's 2 and 3. Now you need to knit 6 rows if you're going to pick up in the valley. There's a couple ways, of course, there's a couple ways to do these. I'm using double points tonight because I feel that you have a little bit more control if you're not familiar with doing these. I like it as a first try. The practice sticks to use for this. And I'm also using a heavier weight yarn than you normally would for a shawl. There are a lot of shawls in a worsted weight as well, but the majority of the shawls, at least the shawls that I shared with you this month for the garter stitch tab, are using fingering or DK weight. A lighter shawl is more common, certainly. So here I have 5 and 6. 2, 3. So looking at the tab, you can see that I have 3 valleys and 2 garter ridges. So to pick up in the valleys, you can pick up here, here, and here. Now I'm going to knit one more row and show you how to pick up the purl bumps. This to me is the easiest way to do one of these shawls. Oh, I just have 2 ridges. Oh, sorry, one more row. The trick about the garter stitch tab is that at this point, when you're done with your final row, you don't turn it around, but you pivot it 90 degrees. So you're looking at the side of the work. Here's your 6 rows, and now we're going to pivot. And that is right here in the shawl, FYI. So if you pick up the garter ridges, you can literally grab a double point and put them on your stick. And then you can just knit right off these. You can also do this with a circular needle. And you'll notice that because of the pivot, the fabric is now curved. And I'm going to curve it again because we're going to pick up from the cast on row, which is what you're seeing now. Here's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. These are a little bit tricky to see, so don't be too worried about it. And also when you're picking up a stitch for a garter tab, you're just gonna grab one of the V's. It's not like you're picking up for a button band where I suggest to pick up the full V. For a button band, or excuse me, for the garter tab, you're just going to pick up one. Reason being, it's just going to lie flatter and it's going to be a little bit neater in the long scheme of things. You get a little confused, which is the cast on, which should I be picking up? Ultimately, they're spaced out correctly. I wouldn't let it stop you from moving forward and giving this a go. So now I have these three are the first ones. This was my rectangle space. Then here are the side stitches. And then we pivoted yet again and picked up and knit along our cast on edge. So there you have it. There is your garter stitch tab. Thanks for joining me. We'll talk to you soon.